Hi, welcome back to the Capacitor channel. This is going to be an exciting new series where I'm going to show you how you can design PCBs and build them and have them delivered to your place. And also going to show you in this video how to actually, if you have a Gerber file, you know, sometimes people say, oh, this is a Gerber file, you get your own PCB. How you actually go from a Gerber file to actually get a PCB. Not only are we going to show you how to get a PCB, but also how to get it fully assembled with all the parts. So when it comes to you, it's ready to go and functional. We're going to get all this from JLCPCB, which is a really good place to get PCBs and assemble PCBs. There are two parts in this video. The first part, we are going to take the Gerber file and placement file and create this PCB that is assembled and fully functional. It's a CRC filter. It's going to filter the power supply. And the second part, we're going to be doing the shield that goes between capacitors. We're going to do multiple of those, and there'll be about 15 of them on the same PCB board. So there's a couple things here. You can, if you want to skip one or the other, you can basically go to the section you want or just check them both. We're going to take a Gerber file of, for example, the CRC filter that we can use for any power supply you're powering. Sometimes you're using those little power bricks you plug into your wall and you're plugging into something, and by the time that power comes through that long cable, you're picking up noise. So you need something like a little filter just close to your equipment to reduce the noise a little bit. It's not a miracle device, but everything helps in audio. So we're going to get a Gerber file and actually order those CRC filters. And in another video in the future, I'm going to show you how you're actually going to design it yourself from scratch. So you can actually modify things, because you may not like this design. You might want to do something slightly different. And you can change things up to tailors for your needs. Just a quick overview to show you the schematics of this CRC filter. Basically, it's a CRC filter. What it is a bunch of capacitors, then a resistor, another bunch of capacitors. In this case, there's also another resistor, another bunch of capacitors. This is a little bit versatile. So here's a jumper pin here and a jumper pin here. So you can bypass the resistor if you like. You can bypass both of them. So this could be just a filter, a CRC filter, or CRC filter, whichever way you like it. In the future video, we're going to actually go in depth. We actually design this thing from scratch and show you how to do all the schematics and actually create the Gerber files. So the first thing you want to do is go to JLCPCB website, create an account, and from there click on Order Now. And that's gonna bring you to this screen here, and you'll see right at the front, add a Gerber file. You're gonna click on that and you're gonna find your Gerber file, and here it is. It's all downloaded. Now you can scroll a little bit. So here you can decide how many do you want. For example, for 5 of them, it's $2. So it's fairly cheap, but as you change things, the price will change. So for example, if we don't want them green, I want them in black. The price sometimes changes, sometimes doesn't, so that stays the same. That's pretty good. So we're gonna keep scrolling down. We're gonna keep things simple for this one. So we're gonna keep it on black. We're gonna scroll down because we want to order it assembled. So where it says here PCB assembly, you're gonna say highlight that. Sometimes that's the first time you order, you get free assembly, but you know, to a certain level. So here we're gonna decide. It says assemble on top side, so basically we only have components on the top in this case, so that's fine. So we're gonna click on next, and here you can see our board. That's actually the way it is designed. Just make sure you get the right Gerber file. I'm gonna press next again, and here it will ask you to add a BOM file and also a placement file. So we are going to add both. So this is a build of material file. We're going to say open, and we're going to add the placement file, and this is a pick and place file, and we're going to say open, and then process. And here you can see it's going to show all the parts. And it's very important that you actually check everything and make sure everything is in stock. So if you see here, it says on this part quantities, they're basically in stock. There's 55 of them here, so they've got stock of that. So here, so it seems like we have stock of everything. Now the parts are here that say no parts selected. That's fine. These are basically pads, and there's a hole, so there's nothing really, there's no real parts here to be worried about. So it seems like all the parts that we want are in place. The parts are very inexpensive, so they're all listed here with the prices. And here it says basic and extended. Basic, usually it's cheaper to get assembled. Extended, there's a fee to assemble those parts. And let's press next. And it says project an unselected part. That's fine. We're going to say do not place, so that's okay. We don't need those. They're not actual parts, like I said. And we're just going to let it sync. So here it is. It's basically getting things designed. Scroll down again. We're going to say next. And here it starts to, as you notice, the price suddenly, the $2 are no longer $2 because we are assembling. We have the price of the parts. Remember, we have 5 boards here. So now we are at $41. And so we are going to put that in our cart. And we're going to highlight everything here. And we're going to say secure checkout. Let's see how much that's going to cost us. We're going to click, for example, I like getting it all coming with a slower pace and a little bit cheaper. So now we're at $69. That's probably the cheapest. This is with all the taxes included, and there's no, you don't have to worry. So DDP means customs already prepaid. That's, I find, is the cheapest way, at least to my locations. So now you're looking, so it's going to cost us $69 to get those 5 boards built and sent to us. Now you can, instead of building 5, you can say I want 2 or I want 1. It'll be a little bit cheaper because the parts are cheaper, but not by a lot, because usually the more volume, the cheaper things get. But you can fiddle around with that and decide what you'd like. And from there you can continue, you do the payment and all that stuff. Usually within a couple of weeks, what says here 8 to 12 business days, that should show up on your door, and hooray, you can check them out, and then you might hopefully realize that everything went well. Now let's say we're just going to order, I'm just going to show you what it costs to just order the PCB, which will be way cheaper. So the PCB alone, there was $2, we were getting that introductory special, and we are going to go, we don't need to do any assembly here, do everything the same, so just save to cart, go to the cart, we're going to add that one PCB, we're getting 5 of them for a special $2. Alright, so here you go. Now you can see that the board is $2, shipping is $56, but we don't panic here. You don't need to ship it, FedEx and get it shipped in a couple days. So you're gonna pick the very last one here, Global Standard Direct Line. So this is just like the cheapest shipping, and it's only $1.52. So this is where it gets cheap. So you can get this board, 5 of those, for $3.52 if you don't mind waiting for 10-12 days, and they'll come delivered to your door. That is cheap, for example. I'm just giving you an idea on what to expect, but as soon as you get a little bit fancy, you add parts, you add maybe 4 layers, you add gold or plated or things like that, price will go higher, and also will shipping, especially if you're adding either quantity or, let's say, assembled boards. And the second part of this video, we're going to design this little shield, and there'll be about 15 of them on the same PCB board. And these will be used between capacitors to reduce crosstalk between capacitors and actually shield things. So the first thing you want to do to design something to create a PCB board is you need a software, and we're going to be using Easy EDA. As the name says it is an easy software to use. So you are going to start with File, New, Project, and we're going to call this project Mini Cap Shield. We're going to press Save. And as soon as you do that, you're going to create a blank new design area. So this is where you can design your schematics. Our project is simple. It only has one little pad. So we're going to go and try to find a pad. So we're going to go into the library on the left here. Click on library. And we're going to click search for pad. Now that's a general word. You're going to get a lot of stuff. But let's see what we get. And then we're going to go into the user contributed for this one, because sometimes it's simple. For simple things like that, it's easier to go there. And you can click on these and you can see on the right what they look like. And we're going to keep rolling, see if we can find a round one. Sometimes here's pad round, for example. So this one looks about decent. So we're going to pick this one. We're going to say place. And now we can place it here. Now, if you don't like the orientation of it, you can click the space bar to which way you want it to be. And then click, and here it is. I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to click. So we have two pads here. Now, these pads should be connected to something. So we're going to connect them to ground because it is a shield, and in a shield, usually they're connected to ground. This time we're going to go into the common library. This is where there's some common stuff. We're going to take ground, and we're going to put ground again. Like I said, if you want to orient it properly, you can do it like this, for example. And when you're done clicking, you don't need any more. You just right click to make it disappear. So now we want to connect those two pads to the ground. So we're going to take our wiring tool here. We're going to click on that, and then we're going to zoom in so you can see a little bit better. And we are going to go from ground, and we'll go here, this way, and connect that. That's one. And then we're going to do the second one, and we're going to go from here, here, and here we go. So now we connected those two pads to ground. That's all it is for this project. So it's a really simple one. Once you've done that, you are going to go into save. There's a little disk here. You just click save. And from here, you're going to go design. I'm going to say convert schematic to PCB. You say that. And this is going to tell you the size of your PCB. And this is important to decide really what size you want it to be. Now, if you like, you can change the name of these pads. You can click on it. And where it says pad round, you can, let's say, call it pad 1, pad 2. Once you've done all that, you're going to click save. And then we're going to go design. This is when we're going to start designing the PCB. So now we're going to go design, convert schematic to PCB. So we know the capacitors are about 18 millimeters high, 20 millimeters. And the widths, we know they're 26 millimeters. So we're going to give it an extra millimeter. So we're going to make it 27. And we're just going to be a 2-layer board, and we're going to say apply. So here we go. We've got our pad already. You can see it there. And we are going to now position those pads. So we're going to put one in each corner, one here, and one here. Now, if I decide that maybe I don't want two of them, I can just click on one of them and say, let's take this one out, for example, and say delete. I now only have one. So I'm going to put it here. Now, if you notice that the pad is taking a little bit too much space, I want it to be discrete and as small as possible. So I'm going to go, when you click on it, you're going to have all the properties on the right. And so you could see it's a 3 millimeter by 3 millimeter. It's round. I want it to be rectangular, and I want it to be 2 millimeter wide by 3 millimeter height. So, or actually, let's do it the other way around. So 3 by 2. So now it takes a little bit less space. We're going to put it right in the corner. Let's zoom in on it. Now, if you want to move the screen to the left or to the right, just right click, you'll get the hand. And once you have the hand, you can move things around. So we're going to position the pad right in the corner here. So here we go. Now, so we have this guy is connected to ground. You can tell that by the net here. It says ground. So we know this is connected to ground. But if we build this PCB the way it is now, you're not going to get a copper into the PCB. This will just be one little pad. So we want the whole surface to be actually also copper ground. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a copper pour. So here we're going to change from all to copper areas. I'm going to move this a little bit here so you can see it. So we're in the copper section. We have the top layer and the bottom layer. So we're going to put our pencil mark in the top layer. That means we're designing in the top layer. And then we're going to go where it says PCB tools here. This little part here, if you hover on it, it says copper area. We're going to click on that. And you said you want the net to be ground. And yes, we want this to be ground. So we're going to say OK. And now we are going to build a square. And that's all going to be a copper area. We're going to click here, click here, and click here. And as soon as you right click, the whole area gets filled with copper. If you have decided, well, oh, it's a little bit short on the bottom, just no big deal. Just click on it again. You'll see the lines and just drag them down a little bit. There you go. And when you're done, right click and say copper area rebuild selected. And here we go. And you've got it again. So here it is. So we've got copper, but let's do even better. We have two layers here. So let's put copper on the other side as well. So we're going to go on the bottom layer. So we're going to click on that. And we're going to take the eye from the top layer off so we don't see it. Now we don't see the top layer. Now we're only seeing the bottom layer. And we're also designing the bottom layer. These are the two different things. Same thing. We're going to do click on there. Say we're going to connect it to ground. And it's the same idea again. And here we go. Same thing. And now we've got both front and back in copper. And if it's kind of something cool, if you want to see what this looks like in reality, you can click on the 3D image here. And you're going to actually see this is your shield in 3D. So from here, what's interesting now is if we order this, let's say we want actually 14 of those for our capacitor. That's going to cost a lot of money to order 14 if we order it like this. Remember, this is a tiny little PCB. There's a feature, it's called Panelize. And what that does, you can make a whole bunch of those attached together, and it will be a lot cheaper than to order them separately. As long as you stay less than 100 millimeter by 100 millimeter board, you're okay. So what we're going to do, we are going to go under Tools. We're going to say Panelize. So here you get to decide first, you want a V-cut or stamp hole or do not panelize. So we want actually V-cut. V-cut is a little bit easier and you don't get those. We want 3 columns and we want 5 rows. So here it is. So you get it like that, and this is how it looks. Now, if you notice the spacing is kind of annoying, you might not need it. Sometimes you do need it, but in this case we don't. It's going to be hard cutting that little small piece. So we go back again under Tools and Panelize, and where it says spacing, just going to put 0. We don't want any spacing. And say Apply, and right away you can see it got a bit smaller. And that's a little bit better. And now we can easily see. Now you can't order it like this because it will be hard for them to design it. You need to add a couple border lines so it's easier to keep things together for them. Otherwise they will call you, say, oh, we cannot design this for you. So you go again, tools, panelize, and where it says create border, just say yes. And it says, where it says border position top and bottom, just say left and right and just say apply. And here we go. We've got the same design that we have here, except this one I designed it as 4 rows. We're going this one, the new one is going to be 5 rows because I realized we need more than 12. So this way you don't have to order more than 1 panel per board. So here you have it. Basically, this is ready to go now. All you have to do is you're going to go fabrication, and we're going to say PCB fabrication Gerber. We're going to create a Gerber file. Before you do that, though, you have to save. So let's save first. And then you're going to go fabrication, and we're going to do the Gerber file. It says you want to check DRC. You can say yes if you like, or you can just create no, just create the Gerber file. We're just going to say yes just to be sure. The DRC usually tells you if you've missed some connections, if there are things that are conflicting. In this case, there's nothing because it shows 0 here, so everything looks good. I would ignore the screen and just say generate Gerber. And basically that's all you need. You have created the Gerber file. Because there are no components here, there is no pick and place file, there is no bill of material. All you need is that Gerber file. And from the Gerber file, we can go ahead and order our parts, our PCBs. So once again, we're going to go on the JLCPCB website, and we're going to go add Gerber file, click the Gerber file that we've created. Once it loads, we're going to pick a different color for our application. It's going to be black. And we're going to say save to cart. On the cart, we're going to select all, which is just one project, and go secure checkout. Now, don't worry about the big shipping charge for now. That's because we're shipping it express, so we don't need to ship it express. So we've got time. We're going to pick the cheapo shipping, which is $1.52. So this is a global standard. If your boards are small, lightweight, they can fit in a small little package. You can be they're under 15 bucks. You can basically ship them at no big cost. Now, I have done this, and they have contacted me by email saying, well, because you're panelizing, you're using like 15 in one, you cannot order it for this price. They tacked on another $5 or $10, I can't remember how much, and then I sent them some more money. So it was still a good deal, but just so you know, they will probably contact you with the same because you're using a panel of 15 of them. So here we go. From here on, you just press continue, you pay for it, and you should be good to go. And 2 weeks later, it will show up at your door. So if you ordered the shields from JLCPCB, they will come in a nice blue box like this. And here you have your project. Now, to get the Gerber and placement files to order these, the CRC filter and the shield from JLCPCB, I'm actually going to put those files on my Patreon, but no, you're not going to have to spend a fortune. For only $1, basically, you can subscribe and support the channel, and at the same time download those files. If you chose not to later on, you can just cancel. It's just $1, but it helps the channel a little bit. Every little bit counts, because to be honest with you, YouTube is not really something that can help support the channel on its own. It's more like coffee money rather than, unless you're making videos that have millions of views, you don't do very well. I do it because I actually enjoy it. I like showing people how to do DIY stuff and help others, and that's more something that gives me joy more than because there's anything behind that. I'm going to put all the links in the description below, so just follow the description and you can get the files to do those. You can also wait for the next video if you want to actually design it all from scratch, and do it yourself. I personally suggest you do both because it's nice to have the file or to see how they were done. Also, it's nice to learn and do it yourself because the ultimate thing here is for you to build your own and design your own PCBs. In the corner here, I'm going to put my link to my Capacitor TD1 DAC in case you're interested in building and experiencing some of the best sound. I'm having lots of people who have built this DAC and they're actually loving it, and they're experiencing a whole new level of sound they have not experienced before. In the corner here, I'm going to put songs that you can actually listen to them on your system. These are very high quality songs that can really get you to the next level of listening. I'll be a speaker in the middle. If you'd like to subscribe, my Patreon link is in the description, and I hope to see you in another video. Take care.